Hello, I am here with Material Mom, who is my mom, in Tijuana, Mexico. The view that you've seen on the other videos is right there. I've been down here with her as her companion for the surgery, which I also had the surgery coming up on next week will be 7 months ago. Same surgery as her. And she just wanted me to give a couple thoughts I had about it and a little bit of my experience. So, believe it or not, this is becoming more and more common to do. Our family doctor, who's a doctor that I completely 100% trust, is pretty, how would you say it, Mom? I wouldn't say an advocate, but very, very supportive of getting bariatric surgery. He said it's the only thing he's seen in his career that is long lasting, works long term, and doesn't have terrible side effects, and isn't something that you just gain the weight back as soon as you quit. He says all the semaglutide, Ozempic, all the phentermine pills, the diets that are out there, there's a million of them. As soon as you quit, you'll gain all your weight back. He said this is the only thing that. And so we had some friends, and my wife and I had some friends of ours that his wife had done it with great results. And when she was doing it, I was very standoffish, like, no way, I would never do that. But then seeing her journey and how it worked, and then maybe it was just kind of a point in my life where I've always felt much younger than my age. Some might say immature. I teach 3rd grade, so I'm around little kids all day. But maybe it's kind of a midlife crisis thing. I was starting to realize that my health, and looking at people older than I am, because I turned 46, which March am I gonna be 47, Mom?
I don't have my calculator.
I'm gonna be 47, I think, in March. And then I went to the doctor, got blood work done, and my blood pressure was high enough that he said if I don't do something to help me lose some weight, I was gonna have to get on some medication. My sugars were not high enough to need anything, but he says you're getting up there, I would lose some weight. My cholesterol was high. He said if you don't lose weight, I'm going to start recommending some medication for that. And then my bilirubin was high, which he says that's fatty liver. And I was like, what? This is insane. Like, I didn't realize. And then I've always tried to watch my weight through the years, but my new high of where my what kept going up. And I've tried many diets. My wife and I did the carnivore diet, which actually was my favorite. If anybody doesn't ready for surgery, I highly recommend that. Pretty easy to do. I lost like 40 pounds. Felt great, felt better than I had in a lot of years before that. But then summer came, and for school teachers, you have summers off, kind of. I do other work, and I started eating again, and then the weight comes right back instantly. So then my doctor talked to me about how losing and gaining the same 40 or 50 pounds, which I have done probably a dozen times in the last 20 years, also is not great for your health. And then on top of that, which if my dad were to ever watch this, he lives in Texas, he knows, because I've told him on the phone to his face, that he was a big inspiration for me wanting to do this. And not necessarily in a good way. He lives a very sedentary lifestyle. He has, like a lot of people, fairly obese, not morbidly or anything, but definitely obese. And we go down to visit him, and then we want to go to the zoo or something, and he's like, nah, you guys go, take the kids, I'll stay here, it's too much work. his heart problems, his back hurts. He's had both knees replaced. He's had some other issues with being in a car accident that didn't help, but having had injuries in the past, his joints and stuff are already damaged, but then that made it worse with carrying extra weight around. And I just decided that's not what I want for my future. I want to be healthy, and coupled with our family doctor, he's said, and my mom has mentioned this in other videos, how much of the quality of your life as you get older and health problems are tied to weight. We are they said something like 50% of products and foods didn't exist in the 80s or something. Like, we've become very preservative happy and like the hormones and what do they call those? The GMOs, genetically modified foods, and we don't even know anymore. You look at the labels, you can't even read them half the time. So having had some friends that had come down here, so I had always said I would never do it, and for two, I would never do it in Mexico. That scared me. Then I talked to my family doctor about that as well, and he said, oh, Mexico, they are the best in the world. It's all they do. And this hospital here does anywhere up to 27, I asked him just today actually, up to 27 surgeries a day, 6 days a week. 5 different doctors performing them, and that's all they do. The doctor that actually performed our friends, him and his wife, several other people that I know, my mom and me, has done 7,000 of them by himself. Great man. Definitely knows what he's doing. So I started looking into it, researching it, and I researched a lot of, not just in Mexico. At first it was just bariatric surgery in general. And there's a lot of YouTube videos very informative of stateside doctors that highly recommend it, and not for morbidly obese or people that are, the TV show 600 Pound Life or something. It's like, you don't have to be that big and let your body get to that point. And so they recommend it now for anybody that just struggles with weight loss in general, because it just forces you, it's a tool to force you to eat sensibly, much less. So
most of the people, like with our group, only one was like 500 pounds.
Yeah, there was a guy, I think he was like 600.
The rest of us were all like 250,
Yeah, under 300 for sure. Way under 300, probably more like 250.
250 and under, yeah.
Just kind of tired of the weight. So I started researching it.
In the United States, your BMI.
Yeah, the BMI's requirements in the States are much higher. To get, that being said, that's to get insurance to cover it.
Oh.
They'll do it for less, but it's going to cost you.
Well, that one lady
$50,000.
She couldn't get it in the States. The Oriental lady.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. They do have some requirements, probably. Maybe it was still the insurance to cover it. So I started researching just bariatric surgery in general, and then talking to our friends that had done it, and decided to talk to my wife, she was very supportive of whatever I want to do. And so decided that that's something I wanted to do, and scheduled it. And I have pretty good health insurance through my work at the school district, but it's very high deductibles. So for us to get a surgery of any type in the States is very similar price as coming here. So even if I would have went the avenue of trying to get it covered in the States, it would have cost me very similar as if I just came here, and then I don't have to wait. Sometimes those people are 9 to 18 months to get qualified, all the mental health and the dietitians and classes you have to take, and then making sure nothing else works, which I think is all fine and dandy, but I feel like talking to my mom and me, it's not like I don't understand food. I don't understand how food works. And yes, I know it is how much I put in my mouth, and I do think that some people get poor genetics in that area. There's a lady at work that I work with that has had the surgery as well, a month after me, that she's like, people don't understand that my pre-surgery weight, that was me trying to maintain the low weight and lose weight, and I just can't. So I came on June 6th with the husband of the friend that we have. He came and got surgery as well the same day, and his was more high blood pressure and diabetes and stuff. And so we scheduled. Oh, and the other thing I had, which I think my mom has, that she's very undiagnosed or untreated, is sleep apnea. And the doctor said, for sure that will be gone.
But if I sleep with any room with anyone else, they diagnose me as it.
Yeah, every sleeping companion and the doctor here said she does have sleep apnea. But mine was pretty bad. The guy that I came with, his mom had died of sleep apnea. And in the motel room the night before our surgery, he's like, dude, you scared me. He said I would go 3 minutes without breathing.
Yeah, Jamie says I do that too. He shakes me.
He said I timed it on his phone. He said you'll go 3 minutes without taking a breath, and then it's, and then he says you would wait another minute. He says I almost woke you up because I was so scared. So came down here to Mexico, the whole process that my mom has been talking about. And I'm not trying to promote this for anyone, because it has to be something that you want, something that you're ready for. So I would never try to talk anybody into it, because my experience could be different than theirs, and I don't want to have on my shoulders some of like their regrets maybe, or you doing this. And so I always preface anything that I tell people, this is coming from my own personal experience. My own, I may be different for you. I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I'm just letting you know how it's gone for me. And so that being said, for me, best decision I ever made, besides my mom already mentioned, marrying my wife, of course, and then serving a mission for the church.
Having all your kids.
Having my kids.
That's
Having a family is a conscious decision, and going to school, I mean, a lot of things, but it has changed my life completely. I went and had my 3-month checkup. I need to go in and get my 6 month, because I'm almost 7 months now, but actually go into 3 month until closer to 4 months.
But you feel so good, you feel like you don't need it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I already know, because I already went at 3 months. All of my sugars, my blood pressure, my high cholesterol, everything is down. My sleep apnea, 100% gone. And I wasn't extremely overweight. I've lost 74 pounds.
Did you tell the doctors what percentage of obesity causes health issues, you know?
Well, I don't know the exact numbers, but
Yeah.
he said a lot of health issues as you age. So it's not like you could Google, does bariatric surgery extend your life? Maybe not, but your quality of life in those same years is so much better. I just feel better. I've lost 74 pounds and I've kind of leveled out.
Tell about tiling your floor.
Oh, I just tore up all that tile, I jump up and down, crawl around.
Bending over.
Tying shoes, putting socks on, clipping my toenails.
He had to clip mine last night.
Yeah, I ended up filing it. It was the best thing.
Because I had a snag on my toenail. I couldn't reach it.
Yeah. Everything. I don't see any net downfall. The surgery went so well. I didn't have any pain, discomfort. I could eat anything that I want now, just much smaller portions.
Yeah, tell about that.
But I don't feel like I'm being cheated or gypped out of. Other times I would diet and try to just eat a low calorie diet, and I'd be like, I'm hungry. And I don't feel any of that.
And tell about that you can't gain it back on this type.
Yeah, they've now, with the type that we had, which there's other types, they offer many types of surgery here. The type we had, they now have over 20-year studies on it, and 90% of people have kept 90% of their weight that they lost off.
sadi-s.
Yeah, the sadi. So it's duodenal, some call it duodenal or duodenal switch, but the sadi version. So duodenal duo is 2. So the regular duodenal switch is 2 connection points, and now they've made it more down just to 1 connection point.
Make sure it's still recording.
It is.
Okay.
So they sleeve your stomach. So if anybody ever gets the sleeve, this surgery also includes the sleeve. So you get a sleeve on your stomach, which is just cutting it to the size of a banana, and then they just skip part of they remove the part they take off, which is, I imagine it's just a little. And then they just bypass, and this part is according to your BMI, how much of the small intestine they skip. So they don't remove any intestine, they just skip part of it.
So you have shorter intestines.
So our friends, his wife, your small intestine's like 24 feet long. They bypassed all but like 3 feet of hers. Mine, which you should probably ask that, how long yours is that they left you. Mine is like 12 feet that they left me, that they bypassed half of it. And I feel great.
How's your pooping? At first?
Well, it's at first, you just are so much weight is coming off so quickly. It's a couple times a day, very loose. I don't know how graphic you want to get, but.
Well, we can't smell it, so we're okay.
Yeah. And now I was a little bit concerned about that because I teach school, and I have, especially in the morning, 7:30 kids come to my room, and I don't get a break from them until 10:25. So 3 hours that I can't really leave my room.
Do you have a bathroom in your room?
No. But I'm not too far from one, but I'm technically not supposed to leave my kids to go. But we are almost halfway through the school year, and I've had to like slip out during reading time 3 times. Just because I had to use the restroom. The rest of the time, it's in the morning before school.
Dumping, they say you'll have dumping.
This one you don't have any dumping syndrome.
Okay.
I've never had it. I actually, personally, have never thrown up, even once, which is kind of rare. I hear people at the start, when they switch to food, they will throw up if they eat something that just doesn't agree with them. I personally, 7 months, never once have vomited. And some people have some certain foods that upset their stomachs.
Yeah,
I personally,
oatmeal or something.
I personally don't. I can eat anything, just small amounts. It's kind of a mental thing though. I go down there and get street tacos. I love tacos here in Mexico, authentic street tacos. And I still order 3.
Did you get a recipe?
No. Today I wanted to try the shrimp and the fish and the steak. So I get 3, and I can really only eat about 1.5 of them. So I eat half of each one.
Each one.
And then that was, what time is it? 4 hours ago, and I'm still not hungry. I could say almost in 7 months, I don't know if I've ever felt like I'm actually hungry. And if I were, like a string cheese takes away any type of, it's been incredible. I would never talk somebody into it, but if somebody were on the fence and wanted my recommendation, 5 out of 5 stars. Any discomfort I felt over the last few months, and that's the first few months, 6 weeks of reintroducing foods, keeping your proteins up, getting your water in. Now it's more of a routine because it's been 7 months. But any discomfort or price I've had to pay monetarily or physically has been worth the rewards in my own personal life.